Last weekend, we got some really sad news for you Arrowverse fans. And I know, like I said, it was last weekend, so I'm a little late to this news, but I've been busy all week. I was working at the circus last weekend. It was a community service volunteer thing I did through my school. But now we got to talk about this news because last weekend the news broke that the CW has canceled Batwoman and DC's Legend Tomorrow, which I'd like to say it's surprising, but it's not. And it sucks, though, because I know most people aren't fans of the CW and specifically the Arrowverse. But even those that are, the people that watch The Flash and Superman and Lois and Stargirl and stuff like that, you know, Batwoman and Legends have always been at the bottom of the totem pole. And they've always been the lowest rated shows and all that stuff. So that's honestly kind of been a thing this whole time. It's like, oh, is it going to make it another season or are they going to finally cancel it? And well, they actually did, but now that they actually have, it's really sad. And, you know, I don't think ratings actually have anything to do with it, because when it comes to the CW, they are at this point, I honestly don't think they even care about ratings, because some of these shows, like specifically Legends and Batwoman, they've had terrible ratings the last couple of years, but still they keep getting renewed. I mean, like, the CW doesn't really care about that kind of stuff. They keep just renewing shows every single year, no matter what. But what happened this time? What's different this time? Well, this time we have, of course, the Warner Brothers Discovery merger that just went down. So now we no longer have Warner Brothers, and now it's just Warner Brothers Discovery. And, you know, with this whole merger as it was going down, there were rumors that they wanted to sell the CW. And we still don't know exactly if that's going to happen, but it would make sense. And to get rid of their kind of lackluster shows, obviously Superman and Lois is amazing, and Stargirl as well. The Flash is rumored to be coming to an end next season with a shortened season 9. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And the only thing that really sucks about this is, you know, the difference between these shows getting canceled and coming to an end. Because you have something like Arrow, or even Supergirl and Black Lightning, these other Arrowverse shows that have come to an end, is that they did it on their own terms. They decided on their own to end the story and end the series with one last final season. But Legends and Batwoman, they don't get that privilege. These final seasons ended on cliffhangers, expecting to continue the story in a season 4 for Batwoman and a season 8 in Legends of Tomorrow. Which really sucks, is that we're never going to get that conclusion to these stories and these characters. Now, let's break this up a bit and talk about these separately. So first, let's talk about Batwoman, because this is the one I'm a little less disappointed about, because Batwoman has been a show that I've watched. I've been watching it the whole time, all 3 seasons, but there's always been something about it that's never been super interesting to me. Like, I've never been, like, super duper into this show. Like I said, I've still been watching it and everything, but I've never been super into Batwoman. So everyone hates Batwoman, honestly. I don't know many people that actually still watch Batwoman anyway, but this is a show that I really enjoyed, especially in the beginning part of the first season. Then after that, it went downhill, and we had to deal with a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes drama with Ruby Rose leaving the show as Kate Kane and a whole bunch of other stuff. And there's just so much drama going on with the show. And, you know, there were really highlights of this series, especially, honestly, in Season 3. Season 3 was a huge improvement for the show, bringing in some classic Batman villains like Professor Pig and a version of Killer Croc and Mad Hatter and Poison Ivy. There was some great stuff going on there, but it just wasn't enough. And we did have a cool kind of new adaptation of the Joker in there as well with Ryan Wilder's brother, which didn't really work out that great. But in the end, honestly, I feel like the show kind of did come to a nice end, except for literally the final scene of the show and now series was a cliffhanger setting up some new villain for the next season, but we never even got to see who that villain was or anything. Hopefully at some point now the creators of the show will reveal to us, hey, this is the villain that was supposed to be. But I feel like it did, other than that, kind of come to a nice close for the series, honestly. But as for DC's Legend Tomorrow, this is the one that I'm really saddened by, because this is one that has been going on for 7 years. They did 7 seasons of this show. I've been watching it since the beginning. I was like 9 or 10 years old when this show started. It's been a big part of my life. I've been through so much with Legends, with these characters, with these stories, shared so many emotions, so many laughs, so many joys. And now to see that not only it's over, but that it's just cut short is really, really disappointing. Again, also ending on a cliffhanger even bigger than Batwoman's because, the way Season 7 ended, the penultimate episode honestly felt kind of like a series finale. And I even mentioned that in my episode review and breakdown for that, is that it felt like a series finale because like the Legends were retiring and all that stuff. But then in the season finale, they all came out of retirement. Nate Haywood actually ended up going into full retirement at the end of the episode. We had to say goodbye to that character. But then the rest of the Legends, they ended up getting arrested at the end of the season with also the introduction to Booster Gold, who I was really excited to see more of that character in Season 8. And there was a lot set up for an 8th season. But now we're not going to get that. And that really sucks. Would be nice even if it was just a shortened season like they're planning on doing, at least according to the Hollywood Reporter and stuff like that, with The Flash, is doing a shortened final season just to say goodbye to these characters. Like, that's just the worst part about this. Like, sure, we can see these characters show up in future crossovers later down the line. We can see the return of Javicia Leslie's Ryan Wilder Batwoman. We can see the return of Sarah Lance and the rest of the Legends of Tomorrow in future crossovers or in episodes of other shows. But at this point, after the end of these shows, and with it looking like being the end of The Flash very soon, it just... I honestly don't know if we're going to have any future crossovers. Like, really, what is left of the Arrowverse? We have Superman and Lois, which is great, but that's always been... It's part of the Arrowverse, but it's always been its own separate thing. It's always been disconnected from these other shows, and that's great. That's working out great for that show. But then you've got Stargirl, which is also separate because it literally takes place on a separate universe, but it is technically part of the canon. And so after that, when you get those shows left, no Batwoman, no Legends, probably no Flash by that point, no Supergirl, Black Lightning, or Arrow, or anything like that. Sure, we'll be getting these new shows, like Gotham Knights, and possibly that Justice U series, which will be starring John Diggle. We haven't heard anything on that in a long time, so who knows if that's even happening. But I just don't know really what we're going to get at this point from the future of the Arrowverse, because it does really seem like it is coming to an end. And with these endings of these shows, I've even heard that with Superman and Lois and Stargirl kind of being the last shows of the Arrowverse, I've heard rumors that those shows are going to be moving to HBO Max. If the CW does end up getting sold, instead of moving those shows to whatever new network the other CW shows would be a part of, that instead those series will be placed on HBO Max, which honestly I think would be a great thing for those shows, because they deserve the better budget and the better viewership and everything. But that would basically be the end of the Arrowverse, and this sucks. This really, really does suck. Again, like I said, I'm more saddened by the loss of Legends of Tomorrow, because that show has been, again, through 7 seasons, and sure, it probably should have come to an end, but I wish it got at least a proper closure, because actually right before recording this video, I was watching another video on YouTube that was like a goodbye to Legends of Tomorrow, and it was like a montage of a bunch of different clips from the show, like specifically that clip of like the Legends retirement party from this last season, and seeing some of the goodbyes and retirements from former Legends and all that stuff. And it was just really sad seeing all these characters that have been a part of this show, seeing all these characters that have been such a huge part of my life and brought me so much laughter are just gone. And it's sad. It really, really does suck. And who knows? Maybe a miracle will happen and we'll get somehow some sort of closure for these characters one day, but unfortunately for now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But guys, I'm going to need you to let me know your own thoughts on this in the comments below. What did you think about this news when you first heard about it? What did you think about the cancellation of Batwoman and DC's Legends of Tomorrow? Do you think they deserved another season, another chance on the CW? And would you like to see any sort of closure, any sort of final season, any sort of reappearance to these characters? And what are you going to miss most about these shows? But guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.